Izuku Midoriya's abilities from My Hero Academia. Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku, is the main protagonist of the My Hero Academia manga and anime series. Even though Izuku was born quirkless, he manages to catch the attention of the legendary hero All Might due to his innate heroism and a strong sense of justice, and has since become his close pupil, as well as a student in Class 1A at UA High School. All Might passed on his transferable quirk to Izuku, making him the 9th holder of One For All. Following the Paranormal Liberation War with Tamura Shigaraki and All For One actively targeting Izuku for his quirk, he decides to leave UA before finishing his first year to keep his classmates out of harm's way. After encouragement from his friends, he later returns to UA. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over Izuku Midoriya's abilities. Overall abilities. Izuku's greatest asset prior to receiving his quirk was his vast knowledge of fundamental hero skills and tactics. Izuku studied pro heroes for years and is able to apply that knowledge during crisis situations in a practical manner. His immense bravery and desire to become a hero were also important factors in giving him the mentality to protect others. Before gaining his quirk from All Might, he took on the Sludge villain and rescued Katsuki because of his boldness and application of heroic skills, something that deeply impressed the #1 hero. Upon training with All Might, Izuku inherited One For All from him and was granted the ability to harness a stockpile of powerful energy. He can move faster than the eye can see and take down an enormous villain bot in a single punch, but the physical backlash at the time prevented Izuku from being able to fight properly or compete with his peers on an even playing field. Even so, he still possessed impressive physical durability, and his drive allowed him to withstand the drawbacks of One For All for the most part. Despite the intense drawbacks of One For All, Izuku's wits provide him with ways to use One For All that is still effective in battle. He also retains his ability to act instinctively based on his notes and possesses basic hand-to-hand combat knowledge. By applying those correctly, Izuku is able to fight toe-to-toe with even the strongest students of Class 1A, such as Katsuki and Shoto. Under the tutelage of Gran Torino, Izuku acquired more control over One For All, leading to the creation of One For All Full Cowl, a technique that would eventually become a key component of his fighting style. With Izuku gaining greatly enhanced maneuverability, strength, and a significant reduction in the physical backlash created when using his quirk uncontrollably, he was able to drastically improve his overall fighting capabilities. His newly attained abilities garnered praise from Gran Torino, who noted that Izuku was on a higher level than he was compared to at the sports festival. As Izuku's mastery over his quirk improves, so do his practical skills. Also, when his skills and experience increase, so does his confidence, which is said to be a source of inspiration to his classmates as well. His body, however, still remains relatively vulnerable to One For All's drawbacks, which gives Izuku a disadvantage against enemies like Muscular or Overhaul, whose quirks were proven to be too powerful against One For All's weaker outputs, forcing scenarios where Izuku had to sacrifice his body in order to go all out. In order to protect his own body, particularly his arms, Izuku eventually develops his own unique fighting style, diverging himself further from All Might's. Currently, Izuku is acknowledged by his classmates as a strong, reliable leading figure, with both his strength and intelligence being respected equally. However, Izuku's quirk is still an enigma for them, including Izuku himself, which makes him an unpredictable ally for better or for worse. As Izuku keeps growing, so does One For All, and with the prospect of having new abilities unlocked in the future, Izuku has to work even harder in order to fully dominate the quirk that was passed on to him. By the time of the Paranormal Liberation War, Izuku's skills have grown exponentially to the point that he's able to fight alongside exceptional pro heroes, such as Eraserhead, Gran Torino, and even the current #1 pro hero, Endeavor. But his biggest feat thus far is holding his own against the Grand Commander of the Liberation Front, Tamura Shigaraki, who is powered by All For One and a modified body with strength comparable to All Might, and forcing the all-powerful villain on the defensive despite the latter easily overpowering the top pro heroes. Trained muscles. Usage of One For All requires the user to have strong muscles, as One For All is a lot to handle and could cause the user's body to be blown apart if they don't possess the necessary bodily strength. Having been trained by All Might for 10 months in order to get his body physically ready to inherit One For All, Izuku gained a muscular physique that lets him perform at parameters higher than that of an average student outside UA's hero course. During the quirk apprehension test, he demonstrated a grip strength of 56 kilograms and the ability to run the 50-meter dash in 7.02 seconds. He has since become much stronger after more training. Immense stamina. Izuku has shown on many occasions that he is capable of handling large amounts of pain. Such times were mostly side effects of overusing his quirk and frequently led to various broken bones. Izuku was able to avoid these repercussions by staying in a safe range of one-for-all power output. Currently this is around 45%. Should he be forced to output more power, Izuku is still capable of fighting decently, even with broken limbs, thanks to the effects of adrenaline, but will succumb to exhaustion a while later. He also has to be very wary of his arms, which have grown damaged due to his repeated injuries and could eventually stop working altogether if he doesn't restrain himself. After multiple months of hard work and training with the #1 pro hero Endeavor, Izuku has become much sturdier and more resilient when it comes to the drawbacks of his quirk. Izuku is now shown to be capable of operating for days on end without eating or sleeping, going across Japan and fighting multiple villains. Immense strength. Even without his quirk, Izuku has shown high levels of physical strength for a person his age. During his training with All Might, who weighs 255 kilograms or 562 pounds, he was shown to be able to lift him on his back while walking. During the sports festival, he could lift a slab of metal roughly the size of his body and wield it as an effective weapon to cleave a one-point bot in two. When using One For All, his strength further increases to superhuman levels. At 15%, he could lift several vehicles in the air with the aid of Black Whip. At 30%, he can lift a bus full of people one-handed and run fast enough to evade Tamura's decay and restrain the enhanced Tamura with aid from Black Whip and his anger. During the Tartarus Escapees arc, Izuku's strength increases even further, and he can now use 45% as his regular output with no backlash. Using 45%, he could defeat a weakened muscular with a single punch when he was unsuccessful before, easily collapse a building while fighting his classmates, and even managed to break out of Fumikage Tokoyami's Ragnarok, shocking his friends. At 100%, Izuku's strength rises to the level of All Might, allowing him to commit astonishing feats. He could easily destroy a massive villain bot with a single punch, annihilate a 12-story building, create torrents of wind pressure with a flick of his fingers, and create a massive explosion with a single punch. Immense speed. Izuku possesses great reflexes with and without full Cowl. He can react in time to defend from Shoto's ice, which is shown to occur in the literal blink of an eye, and can keep up with Katsuki's movements in their first fight. When using full Cowl, his reflexes and movement speed elevate to higher levels. At 5%, he can keep up with Tenya's Reciprocal Burst, which can move faster than the eye can see. At 20%, he can outpace Overhaul, and at 30%, he can keep up with the enhanced Tamura's speed. At 45%, he was capable of keeping up with Lady Nagant's bullet and was even capable of dodging several of her shots, as well as keeping up with Muscular's movements, which he previously could not follow. With his full 100%, Izuku was capable of moving several times faster than Lady Nagant's sniper bullet and reached Overhaul before the bullet did.
Do I give a fuck? No, not one. How many fucks do I give? Zero. Exactly, so therefore your comment is irrelevant.
Ability. Izuku has shown the ability to withstand explosions from Katsuki without One For All, and with 5% he's taken building-sized explosions from Katsuki and attacks from Muscular. At 30% of his power, he's withstood blows from the enhanced Tamura, who is said to have power rivaling All Might himself. At 45%, he withstood being shot by Lady Nagant and even managed to survive a massive explosion triggered by All For One.